Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Ever get that shivery feeling? Like the masks we all wear, the stories we tell. What if they're just barely holding back something way darker?
Oh, yeah, it's unsettling, right? When you think that maybe. The reality we see is kind of fabricated, all built on illusions and stuff. And in psychological thrillers, whoa, those hidden truths and fake faces, it can lead to some crazy, intense consequences.
Totally. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. Sophie Stava's Count My Lies links down in the description if you want to grab it. We're not just talking about little white lies here. Oh no, this character's whole life is basically one big made-up story. We're going to untangle all her deceptions, figure out why she does it, and see how those lies mess up her life and everyone around her. So buckle up, folks. It's going to be a wild ride. Oh, and if you're digging these deep dives, hit that like button and subscribe for more.
Okay, let's start with the beginning and unpack this whole lying thing, like what's the deal with this protagonist? The first scene, it throws us right in, doesn't it? We meet our main character, calling herself Caitlin at first, and boom, she's making up a bee sting remedy for this dad and daughter in the park. It's so casual, like it's just automatic for her.
Like, it's just a habit almost. And there's that detail about the girl's braid reminding her of a ballet classmate, maybe,
Mm.
Carly. It's like her mind is constantly making up these connections, weaving them into her fake reality. To make it feel more real, even if it's just for a second, makes you wonder, is she even trying to convince others? Or is it more like convincing herself?
That's a great point. Like maybe this need to make up all these believable but totally fake details. Maybe it comes from a place of insecurity. Like her own life isn't interesting enough. We see that happening again with the fake cosmetology license, right? That's a big lie with real consequences. It gets her the job at the spa.
Exactly. That lie's got some serious benefits. And then you've got those little lies she tells clients, the sob stories about the broken laptop, the book she's writing.
Yeah.
Those almost feel like a performance, don't they? Like
Yeah.
a way to get sympathy and better tips. It's like she's using deception to get what she wants.
Yeah. Which is totally different from those big stories she made up as a kid. The California move, the movie star dad, the puppy named Pickles, the princess bed. Those weren't about getting something right away. Feels like she wanted to fit in, be special. Especially because she moved around so much and felt invisible. Deep down, she just wanted to be validated.
Pickles the puppy.
Ah!
Oh man, it's kind of heartbreaking. This kid always reinventing herself to fit in, creating this fantasy world so she doesn't feel like such an outsider.
Yeah.
Like a defense mechanism, to deal with being the new kid all the time.
Exactly. But then it gets darker with that lie about the house fire, remember? It totally backfired. Her
Right.
classmate's mom was genuinely worried, offered to help, and boom, the lie was exposed. That had real social consequences. You'd think that'd be a wake-up call, but nope, the pattern keeps going.
It does, doesn't it? Even as an adult, she knows she has this bad habit, this thing where she just lies, but she still does it. It's like she's got to say the right thing, be this perfect version of herself that everyone will love. It's like she's totally disconnected from who she really is.
It's a real internal struggle. The book even says she starts to believe her own lies sometimes. The line between reality and fantasy gets super blurry. Could that be cognitive dissonance? Like, it's easier to keep up the lie than to face the insecurity behind it?
Yeah, like the lie becomes her reality, at least in her own mind.
Yeah,
But that's so dangerous, right? To lose touch with the truth like that.
it is. But there's that one interesting exception, right? She seems to be honest with her mom. She feels like her mom sees her for who she really is, no pretending. That must be a super important connection for her, a place where she can be herself.
True, except even there's a little bit of deception, isn't there? She chooses not to tell her mom about Jay and Harper, saying leaving something out isn't the same as lying. I mean, wow. It shows just how deep this need to control the narrative goes, even with the person she's closest to. Okay, so we see the roots of her lying and all the ways it shows up. But how does it affect her relationships? Like, how does she connect with people when she's always lying?
Well, in those early scenes at the nail spa with Natasha, we see a pretty superficial bond. They connect over dealing with difficult clients. Natasha's curious about Sloane's life, encourages her about Jay. It seems like normal friend stuff. But it also gives Sloane chances to spin her web of lies.
Right. But then there's that meeting in the park with Jay and Harper. It seems like chance, but it really kicks things off. The bee sting, the lie about being Caitlin, the phone numbers. It's like the start of this whole tangled mess. You can practically feel her getting excited about seeing them again, maybe even building up a little fantasy in her head.
And that excitement ramps up when she gets invited to dinner at their place. Even that tiny lie about not drinking wine feels important. Is she trying to seem more innocent, less threatening? Maybe she's trying to make a good impression on Violet.
And at that dinner, she sees how Violet and Jay are together, and there's a flash of jealousy. It's subtle, but it hints that her interest in this family might be more than just friendly. Like maybe she wants that kind of connection and stability for herself.
Yeah, and that sets the stage for those bigger lies, she tells Violet. The made-up lupus diagnosis, which she gets from Natasha's mom. She uses that to leave early, and it's messed up, right? Exploiting someone's real illness for her own benefit.
And that lie leads straight to the offer to be Harper's nanny. It's totally calculated, a way to dig herself deeper into their lives. Now she's not just an acquaintance, she's part of their everyday routine.
And then the lie about her age, saying she's turning 32 too.
Mm.
It's all about connecting with Violet, pretending they're the same age so there's no distance between them.
And then the Philadelphia connection, which might be totally made up. Sloane wants Violet to be like a sister, and she's willing to invent a shared past to make it happen. You can really feel her loneliness, her desperate need for family.
That moment with the Block Island sweatshirt is so telling. Sloane instantly claims she nannied for a family whose kid went to Mockingbird preschool, then immediately regrets saying too much. It's like she's walking a tightrope, and every lie makes it more likely she'll fall.
It's like she's weaving this crazy web of lies, and it's getting more and more fragile. Okay, so we see her working her way into Violet's life. But how does it get so creepy?
When she takes the nanny job, it's a major escalation. And then she tries to make Violet's bolognese recipe. It's not just about being in Violet's life anymore. It's about taking over parts of it.
But it goes way beyond that. She's literally trying to become Violet. She loves her style, her hair, and then she dyes and cuts her own hair to look just like Violet. It's a full-blown obsession, and she's losing herself in it.
And that obsession leads to some seriously intrusive stuff, like when she goes snooping in Violet's house. The bedroom, the closet, the bathroom, that's crossing a line big time. She's fascinated by Violet's things, her clothes, her makeup, like she wants to absorb her identity.
And then she finds the burner phone in Violet's closet. Ooh, that adds a whole new level of mystery. It hints that Violet might have secrets, too, that her life isn't as perfect as it seems. Sloane's suspicious now, but it doesn't stop her from lying.
It's interesting. It's Sloane's mom who notices the copycat thing first. She sees the new haircut and remembers Sloane's obsession with someone named Allison from before. It shows us this unhealthy pattern in Sloane's life.
And we find out about the stalking incident with Allison, how Sloane lost her job and got in trouble with the law. Wow. It shows us that this is serious, not just a harmless crush.
The book definitely draws a parallel between the Allison thing and what's happening with Violet, even though Sloane says it's different. She's totally blind to her own behavior, which is scary.
But guess what? Violet's not just a helpless victim in all this. She knows Sloane's lying. And get this, she's playing her own game. She says, this whole time she thought she lied her way into our lives, but the truth is, I lied my way into hers. Mind blown.
Right. Violet overheard people gossiping about a teacher named Allison at Harper's preschool, and that made her suspicious of Sloane. So she starts her own plan. She's been manipulating Sloane from the beginning.
So she wasn't just putting up with Sloane, she was using her. The dropped business card, the fake interest in Sloane's made-up stories, it was all part of her plan.
Totally. The Block Island invitation and the casual request for Sloane's driver's license, totally calculated. Violet knew that license would show Sloane's real name, which was a big part of her plan.
And when Violet sees Sloane on the license, not Caitlin, it confirms her suspicions. Now she's ready to confront her. The lies are getting bigger on both sides, and it's all leading to this showdown on Block Island.
Block Island's got its own significance for Violet, especially her connection to someone named Danny. The whole trip is full of tension, and Sloane's fallen for Jay, which just makes things worse.
And Jay, he has no idea what's really going on. He opens up to Sloane about his rocky marriage, how he and Violet are basically living separate lives. That definitely makes Sloane's feelings stronger, and Violet is not going to be happy about it.
Oh, Violet sees what's happening between them, and it just adds to the tension. Meanwhile, she's making some big moves. Like, she writes a new will, forges Jay's signature, and names Caitlin Caraway as Harper's guardian. She's taking control, and it's clear she's got a plan.
And then, bam, Violet and Jay have this huge fight, and Jay leaves. Now it's just Violet and Sloane, and the confrontation is coming.
It's intense. Violet calls Sloane out on all her lies, but she also reveals how unhappy she is, how much resentment she's carrying around, and then she pulls out a gun.
That moment when Sloane sees a warped, almost true version of herself reflected in Violet's eyes, it's powerful. It's like they're both caught in these webs of lies, both victims in a way.
It really highlights the main themes of the book, you know? Why we lie, how fragile our identities can be when they're based on lies, how much damage deception can cause. It all comes to a head in that tense, potentially violent scene.
So after this deep dive into Count My Lies, we're left with some big questions. Why do we build these fake realities? What's the real cost of all those lies? Not just for the liar, but for everyone else involved. What stood out to you about Sloane's motivations and Violet's reactions as we went through these excerpts?
This deep dive really shows how our own insecurities and desires can mess with how we see other people. And that can lead to some bad choices, you know? It makes you wonder, how well do we actually know the people we're close to? How much of what we believe is real and how much is just a carefully crafted performance?
Right. Makes you think. In a world where everyone's wearing masks, how can we ever know who to trust? And even more importantly, how can we know ourselves? Especially when we start to believe our own lies. Can we ever build real connections without being honest, even when the truth is hard?
That's a huge question, and it's so important.
Totally. Thanks for joining us today. We hope this deep dive into Count My Lies gave you some new ways to think about deception and identity. Let us know what you thought in the comments. Share your favorite parts, ask any questions you have. We love hearing from you. And if you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe for more deep dives. See you next time.